Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, today I want to talk about something deeper than pain, louder than fear, and stronger than excuses. Life lessons. Not just words, but wisdom carved from the storms we've survived, the mistakes we've made, and the truths we've ignored. You see, life doesn't hand us peace. It teaches us how to build it. It doesn't offer clarity. It demands growth. And today, I'm here to share with you 70 powerful truths that, if lived, can fix 93% of the problems you think are holding you back. Because most of life's chaos doesn't come from the outside. It comes from how we respond, how we believe, how we think. Fix the foundation and the building will rise. Heal the mindset and the life will change. So open your heart, clear your mind, and lean in. What you're about to hear isn't just a speech. It's a blueprint to peace, purpose, and power. Let me know if you want a version that's more faith-based, more stoic, or more aggressive in tone. I can tailor it further to fit your speech perfectly. Your mindset is the root of 93% of your struggles. Fix that, and life starts to change. It sounds simple, even cliché, but the truth it carries is heavy. Every problem we think we have, procrastination, fear, insecurity, overthinking, comparison, anger, anxiety, most of them don't start in our circumstances, they start in our thinking. Your mindset is not just the way you think, it's the lens through which you interpret the world. The filter that colors your emotions, the voice that narrates your experiences. If that lens is cracked, blurred, or poisoned with negativity, everything you see will feel broken. Even if the world around you is fine, the external doesn't need to change for your life to improve. The internal must be rebuilt, realigned, and reprogrammed. People think their problems are caused by what they don't have: not enough money, not enough time, not enough opportunities, not enough love. But there are people with less than you who are doing more. There are people with bigger obstacles who are running faster. What separates them from you is not luck. It's mindset. A person with a growth mindset will look at failure and say, lesson learned. A person with a fixed mindset will look at the same failure and say, I'm not good enough. The situation is the same, but the internal dialogue determines whether they rise or fall. That's why two people can walk through the same fire and come out with completely different results. The fire didn't decide their future. Their mindset did. If you want to fix your life, you need to stop chasing surface, level solutions, and dig into the roots. Most people are trimming the leaves of a tree, but wondering why the fruit never grows. They try new habits for a week. They read one book. They change friends. They change jobs. but their inner dialogue stays the same. They still speak to themselves like they're broken, like they're behind, like they're not worthy. You can't plant success in a soil of self-doubt. You can't build confidence on a foundation of comparison. Your life will always rise or fall to the level of your mindset. How do you begin to fix it? First, you have to confront the lies. Every limiting belief you carry. I'm not good enough. It's too late for me. I always mess things up. These are not truths. They're learned ideas, often picked up from pain, trauma, or someone else's voice that you accepted as your own. These beliefs become internal programs, and if left unchecked, they will sabotage every attempt at growth. You need to start asking, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is this belief serving my future or keeping me stuck in my past? Awareness is the first key to change. You can't change what you don't first identify. Second, shift your inner language. Speak to yourself like someone you love, not with fake positivity, but with firm truth. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try saying, this is hard, but I'm learning. Instead of, I always fail, say, I'm building consistency, and that takes time. Your brain listens to your words, and your emotions follow your brain. Change your words, change your mind. Change your mind, change your life. Third, protect your mental environment. If you constantly consume negativity on social media, in conversations, in your own inner world, your mindset will rot. Just like your body responds to the food you eat, your mind responds to the content you consume. Follow people who inspire growth. Read books that challenge your limits. Watch content that makes you feel capable, not broken. Curate your world the way you'd curate your home. Don't let trash sit in your head and wonder why your thinking stinks. Next, practice gratitude and perspective. Your mindset shifts when you stop looking at what's missing and start appreciating what's already present. Problems feel smaller when your perspective grows. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring the pain. It means refusing to let pain blind you to the beauty that still exists. When you train your brain to find what's right, it stops obsessing over what's wrong. When you start your day with thank you, you teach your mind that life is a gift, not a burden. That shift alone can rewire years of negative thinking. Another vital piece is responsibility. Your mindset changes when you stop waiting for someone else to fix your life, waiting for apologies, waiting for validation, waiting for circumstances to change. These things put your power in someone else's hands. But when you say, it's on me, I take responsibility for my healing, my growth, my future, you reclaim your power. That doesn't mean you caused everything that happened to you. It means you are in charge of what happens next. Victim thinking might feel justified, but it will keep you small. Ownership is where transformation begins. Finally, understand that mindset is not a switch. It's a system. It's built daily. It's built through repetition, discipline, and intentionality. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin. Show up for yourself even when your mind tells you not to. Show up when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's slow. Every time you challenge an old belief, every time you choose growth over fear, you're changing your internal architecture, brick by brick, thought by thought, belief by belief. Stop negotiating with your excuses. Discipline will do what motivation can't. Excuses are the quiet killers of potential, the smooth talking voices in your head that tell you it's okay to wait, to quit, to do it later. They sound logical, even comforting. But they are lies. They don't protect you. They keep you average. Motivation may get you started, but it's fleeting. It's like a spark, exciting, bright, but temporary. Discipline is the fire that stays lit long after motivation dies out. Discipline shows up when you don't feel like it. It does the work even when no one is watching. It keeps its word, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. We all hear those excuses. I'm tired. I've had a rough day. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not ready. These words feel true in the moment, but they become patterns. And those patterns become your personality. You think you're making small decisions, but you're actually shaping your entire identity. Every time you choose an excuse over effort, you vote for the version of you that stays stuck. Every time you honor your discipline over your feelings, you vote for the version of you that grows, evolves, and wins. You'll never always feel like doing what needs to be done. That's a fact. The people who build extraordinary lives aren't fueled by endless waves of motivation. They're driven by commitment. They've decided that showing up matters more than feeling ready. They've trained themselves to act regardless of how they feel. That's the key. You act first, and the feelings follow. You don't wait to feel confident before you speak. You speak until you feel confident. You don't wait to feel strong to show up. You show up until you feel strong. Discipline is doing the right thing, especially when it's inconvenient. It's waking up early when your body says sleep. It's going to the gym when your mind says rest. It's staying focused when distractions scream for attention. Discipline doesn't look exciting on the surface. It's repetition. It's routine. It's choosing long-term gain over short-term comfort. But that's where power is built. That's where self-respect grows. Every time you follow through on your word to yourself, you strengthen your character. You become someone you trust. And when you trust yourself, your confidence is unshakable. The truth is, life isn't waiting for you to feel inspired. The clock is ticking whether you're motivated or not. The opportunities are passing by whether you feel ready or not. The world rewards action, not intention. Nobody is going to come and save you from your own excuses. Nobody is going to care as much about your dreams as you do. That means you have to become your own coach, your own motivator, your own accountability partner. You have to silence the excuses and amplify the discipline. Discipline is built through choice, not chance. You start small. Set a time to wake up and honor it. Set a task and complete it. Start a workout and finish it. Don't skip because you're tired. Don't delay because you're scared. Build the habit of completion. Build the muscle of consistency. Show yourself that you can follow through no matter what. That's how you create momentum. That's how you build resilience. Not by waiting for motivation to knock on your door, but by getting up and doing what needs to be done, regardless of how loud your excuses are. There's a myth that says discipline is restrictive, that it limits freedom, but the opposite is true. Discipline creates freedom. It gives you control over your time, your energy, your results. When you live by discipline, you stop being a slave to your emotions. You stop letting circumstances dictate your progress. You become intentional, powerful, focused. That's not limitation. That's liberation. That's not a cage. That's the key to unlock every door you thought was closed. Every excuse you believe makes you weaker. Every act of discipline makes you stronger. The difference between winners and quitters is not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's discipline. The boring, consistent, daily decisions to do what others won't. To rise when others rest. To build when others wait. You don't need to feel like it. You just need to decide that your goals are worth more than your comfort. That your future matters more than your temporary mood. There will always be reasons to stop. There will always be a story in your head telling you it's okay to skip today. But if you keep listening to that story, it will become your reality. If you keep negotiating with your weakness, it will take over your strength. You can't expect high-level results from low-level habits. You can't expect transformation when you're ruled by convenience. You have to choose the hard path, the disciplined path, because that's where greatness is forged. Most people don't need more time. They need more focus and less distraction. Time has never been the real issue. It's how we spend it, how we waste it, and how little we protect it that creates the illusion of shortage. Everyone gets the same 24 hours, but not everyone guards those hours with intention. The difference between those who feel overwhelmed and those who make progress isn't more hours in the day. It's clarity of purpose and ruthless focus. When your attention is fractured, your energy is scattered. When your mind is pulled in 100 directions, nothing meaningful gets finished. Productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters without interruption. Distractions have become the default in today's world. Phones buzzing, notifications popping, endless scrolling, constant comparisons. You start your day with purpose, but within minutes, you're buried under noise that steals your clarity. It's not that you don't have time to build, to grow, to heal, to win. It's that you keep giving your time to things that don't move your life forward. You're not overwhelmed because you have too much to do. You're overwhelmed because you're trying to do everything while thinking about everything else. Multitasking isn't a skill, it's a silent sabotage. It gives you the illusion of progress while robbing you of depth, quality, and peace. Focus is a superpower in a distracted world. The ability to lock in, to block out noise, to protect your mental space. That's what separates the driven from the drifting. Every goal you set requires energy, time, and concentration. If you let distractions steal those resources, your dreams will remain distant. People don't quit because they lack desire. They quit because they lose focus. They start with vision, but end up entangled in other people's expectations, urgent demands, and unfiltered noise. Without focus, vision fades. Without focus, progress stalls. Without focus, purpose gets buried under tasks that don't matter. Focus isn't just about attention. It's about decision. It's choosing what deserves your energy and cutting out everything else. It's saying no more often than you say yes. It's being clear about your priorities and unapologetic about your boundaries. You don't need to answer every message immediately. You don't need to consume every headline. You don't need to be available to everyone all the time. Every yes to a distraction is a no to your vision. The people who master their lives are the ones who learn how to master their focus. When you focus, you enter a state of flow. Your mind aligns with your actions. You get more done in less time. You produce better results with less stress. But getting into that state requires discipline. It requires eliminating the clutter, mental, digital, emotional. It means shutting down the noise, turning off the notifications, setting clear blocks of time to work, think, create, and reflect. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. In that quiet, focused space is where breakthroughs are born. It's also important to understand that distraction isn't just digital, it's emotional. Overthinking is a distraction. Worrying about things outside your control is a distraction. Regretting the past and fearing the future, distractions. These mental loops drain your focus and leave you exhausted. You can't build a better future if your mind is stuck replaying yesterday's pain or rehearsing tomorrow's fears. To focus, you must be present. You must learn to bring your full self into this moment, into this task, into this decision. Presence is power, and focus is its expression. The enemy of focus is not just interruption, it's lack of clarity. If you don't know what matters most, everything will seem urgent. If you don't define your priorities, everything will feel like a priority. Start your day with intention. Ask yourself, what actually matters today? What will move my life forward? What is the one thing I must complete no matter what? When you operate with that level of clarity, your actions gain weight, your time gains value, your days become less reactive and more productive. You must also recognize that focus requires courage. It means going against the grain of a culture addicted to speed and stimulation. It means being okay with missing out on trends, noise, gossip, and distractions that most people indulge in. Focus makes you look boring to the distracted crowd, but it makes you unstoppable in your purpose. You have to be willing to disconnect to reconnect with yourself, with your goals, with your higher path. You have to trade comfort for clarity, urgency for purpose, chaos for peace. You don't need a longer day. You need to stop wasting the one you already have. You don't need another motivational video. You need to protect your attention like your future depends on it. Because it does. What you focus on multiplies. If you focus on problems, they grow. If you focus on growth, it expands. If you focus on your purpose, your life begins to align. Your time is your life. Don't let distractions spend it for you. Healing begins the moment you stop blaming and start taking ownership. Blame feels good in the short term. It gives you a target, a reason, an excuse to stay hurt, stuck, or silent. But while blame may ease the sting of accountability, it also delays growth. When you blame others for your pain, your past, or your circumstances, you give away your power. You hand over the keys to your freedom and put your future in someone else's hands. The truth is, healing can't coexist with blame. One is a path forward. The other is a chain to the past. Blaming is easy. It doesn't require self-awareness. It doesn't require humility. It doesn't require courage. All it takes is a pointing finger and a hardened heart. But healing is work. Healing is messy. Healing requires you to sit with the pain, name it, and choose to rise above it. It demands that you look in the mirror and ask hard questions. What can I learn from this? What can I control from this point on? How can I grow despite what's been done to me? Taking ownership doesn't mean everything was your fault. It means you're done letting what happened define what happens next. It means you're done waiting for apologies that may never come. It means you're no longer letting someone else's choices decide your worth, your peace, or your future. Ownership is about reclaiming your life. It's about saying, this happened, but I choose how I respond. I choose what I build from here. The reason so many people stay broken is because they're addicted to their story. They've repeated it so many times, it's become part of their identity. They don't know who they are without the pain, the betrayal, the failure. And so they protect the narrative instead of healing the wound. But real freedom comes when you stop identifying with your pain and start identifying with your potential. You're not your trauma. You're not your mistakes. You're not what they did to you. You're what you do next. Healing requires truth, not comfort, not denial. Truth. The truth that maybe you played a part. The truth that maybe you've been running from yourself. The truth that maybe it's time to let go, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. You don't have to keep carrying the weight just because you've been holding it for a long time. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to stop reliving it. It means choosing to invest your energy in your future instead of your past. When you take ownership, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop blaming your parents, your past, your environment. You stop saying, if only this hadn't happened. And you start saying, what can I build with what I have? That's when transformation begins. That's when you rise. Because healing isn't about erasing the pain. It's about building strength from it. It's about becoming wiser, deeper, stronger. Not in spite of what happened, but because of it. There's a silent power in taking responsibility. Not a loud, boastful kind of power. A quiet, grounded strength. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything because it knows it's growing. It's the kind of power that says, yes, I was hurt, but I'm still standing. Yes, I was broken, but I'm rebuilding. That kind of ownership makes you untouchable. Not because you've never been hurt, but because you've turned your hurt into healing. You've turned your wounds into wisdom. Most people run from this work because it feels like loss. They think letting go means they're letting others off the hook. But healing isn't about justice. It's about freedom. It's about waking up one day and realizing that the pain no longer controls you. That you can think about it without falling apart. That you can remember and still move forward. That you can grieve and grow at the same time. That's what healing looks like. Not perfection, but progress. Not forgetting, but forgiving for the sake of your own soul. You begin to heal when you accept that the past will never be different, but the future still can be. When you stop rewriting what happened and start rewriting what's possible. When you let the pain teach you, shape you, but not define you. Ownership turns victims into victors. It doesn't erase the suffering. It transforms it into purpose, into wisdom, into strength that no one can take from you. You have to stop giving your energy to what broke you and start giving your energy to what builds you. You have to stop waiting for someone to fix what they broke and start becoming the person who no longer needs that from them. Not because you didn't deserve better, but because you're finally giving better to yourself. Because you're choosing to be free. Because you're choosing to rise. Because healing isn't something you wait for. It's something you take full responsibility for and fight for every single day. If you keep breaking your own boundaries, don't expect others to respect them. Boundaries are not about controlling other people. They are about protecting your peace, your energy, your time, and your self-worth. When you set a boundary, you're drawing a line that says, this is where I end, and you begin. This is what I allow, and this is what I won't accept. But if you create that line and then constantly erase it, you send a message not just to others, but to yourself, that your standards are flexible, your limits are negotiable, and your self-respect is optional. The first person who needs to honor your boundaries is you. People learn how to treat you by watching how you treat yourself. If you say you won't answer work calls after 7 p.m., but still pick up the phone every time it rings, you're not setting a boundary. You're offering a suggestion. If you tell someone you need space, but then respond to every message they send, you're not creating distance. You're reinforcing access. You can't expect others to take your boundaries seriously if you keep abandoning them when it gets uncomfortable. Boundaries are not about convenience. They are about clarity and commitment. Breaking your own boundaries often comes from a place of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood or seen as selfish. But boundaries are not selfish. They are sacred. They protect the parts of you that the world often tries to exploit your time, your energy, your emotional safety. Every time you uphold a boundary, you're telling yourself, I am worthy of respect. I am allowed to prioritize my needs. I don't need to exhaust myself to be loved or accepted. The problem is, many people equate love with sacrifice. They think setting a boundary means pushing people away, when in reality, it creates space for healthier connection. Love without boundaries becomes codependence. Compassion without boundaries becomes burnout. Generosity without boundaries becomes resentment. You start to give not from abundance, but from depletion. And when you give from depletion, it's only a matter of time before bitterness takes root and you start blaming others for what you chose not to protect. If you're constantly feeling drained, overwhelmed, or taken for granted, it's not always because others are disrespectful. It's often because you haven't clearly defined or enforced your boundaries. You can't pour from an empty cup, and yet so many people do, believing that being available to everyone all the time makes them valuable. It doesn't. It makes you exhausted. It makes you resentful. It makes you disconnected from yourself. Learning to set boundaries means learning to tolerate discomfort. You have to be okay with not being liked by everyone. You have to accept that some people will push back, test your limits, or try to guilt, trip you into compliance. But you're not here to live in fear of other people's opinions. You're here to live in alignment with your truth. And your truth might not always be convenient for others. That's okay. The goal is not to be agreeable. It's to be authentic. Boundaries also help you build trust with yourself. Every time you say no, when you mean no, every time you walk away from what drains you, every time you protect your time and your peace, you prove to yourself that you can be counted on, that you are loyal to your own soul, and that inner trust is what builds confidence. Because when you know you've got your own back, you don't need constant validation from others. You don't need to explain, defend, or justify your choices. You operate from self-respect, not desperation. To build strong boundaries, you have to start with clarity. Know what you need. Know what drains you. Know what energizes you. Reflect on the situations and relationships where you feel anxious, manipulated, or unvalued. That discomfort is a signal. Not that you're weak, but that something is misaligned. Pay attention to those signals. They are trying to guide you toward your peace. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are bridges to healthier relationships built on mutual respect. You also have to be consistent. A boundary that is enforced one day and ignored the next will never be respected. Consistency doesn't mean perfection, It means commitment. When you hold your ground, even when it's hard, you send a message. This matters to me. I matter to me. And the more you practice that, the easier it becomes. What once felt terrifying begins to feel empowering. What once felt selfish begins to feel like self-love. Sometimes setting boundaries means walking away, not out of hate, but out of self-honor. Not because you don't care, but because you care too much to keep betraying yourself. The people who truly love you will respect your boundaries. The people who only loved your availability, your compliance, your silence, they may fall away. Let them. Boundaries don't push away the right people. They reveal them. When you take your own boundaries seriously, others will too. And when they don't, you'll have the strength to act. Not from anger, but from alignment. You're not responsible for how others respond to your boundaries, only for how clearly and consistently you communicate and enforce them. Success isn't found in doing more. It's found in doing what matters consistently. In a world that glorifies hustle and celebrates being busy, it's easy to believe that more is better. More hours, more tasks, more goals, more noise. But the truth is, more doesn't equal progress. More can become a trap, a cycle of constant motion with no real movement. It's not how much you do that determines your success. It's how often you do the right things. The things that align with your vision, your values, and your purpose. Consistency beats intensity. Focus beats frenzy. Doing the right thing every day, even when it's small, even when it's quiet, builds a life of depth and substance. Most people are chasing success with scattered energy. They try one thing today, another tomorrow. They get inspired, take massive action for a few days, and then burn out when the emotion fades. What they don't realize is that success isn't a product of occasional greatness. It's the result of daily discipline. It's what you choose to do on the days you don't feel like it. It's showing up even when the applause is gone. It's sticking to the plan even when no one is watching. Momentum is not built through bursts of energy. It's built through deliberate, repeated, focused effort. Consistency is the quiet builder of transformation. It's not glamorous. It doesn't always feel exciting. In fact, it often feels boring. But that's where growth happens. In the repetition, in the early mornings, when you show up for your goals while others sleep. In the late nights, when you stay disciplined while others quit. It's not the big, dramatic moments that shape your future. It's the small decisions you make every single day. The choice to practice instead of procrastinate. To read instead of scroll. To prepare instead of wing it. These choices seem small, but they compound. And over time, they become unstoppable. The problem is that people confuse movement with progress. They fill their to-do lists with tasks, but never stop to ask, is this helping me move forward? Being busy is not the same as being effective. You can run all day and still end up in the same place if you're running in circles. Clarity is essential. You have to know what matters most and commit to it relentlessly. You have to prioritize purpose over pressure. You have to define your goals and then align your actions with those goals every single day. It's easy to be consistent when things are going well, when motivation is high and the results are obvious. But true consistency is tested in the valleys, in the seasons of doubt, delay, and silence. That's where most people give up. They don't see instant progress, so they assume their effort doesn't matter. But progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. A seed grows in silence before it breaks the surface. A foundation is laid underground before the building rises. Just because you don't see the fruit yet doesn't mean the roots aren't growing. The truth is, the process will always feel slower than you want. But if you keep showing up, the compound effect will eventually kick in. You'll look back and realize that the small, daily acts of discipline created massive results. Not because you did everything at once, but because you did the right things again and again. Consistency is the bridge between goals and achievement. It's the glue that holds your vision together. Without it, dreams stay dreams. With it, they become reality. Consistency also builds confidence. Every time you follow through on your commitment, you prove something to yourself. You reinforce the belief that you are someone who keeps going, someone who finishes what they start. That belief creates internal power. It silences doubt. It replaces hesitation with certainty. You stop waiting for motivation to push you, and you start letting discipline lead you. You become someone who moves forward no matter what. And success, real success, isn't just about results. It's about character. It's about becoming someone who lives with integrity, purpose, and focus. Consistency isn't just about achievement. It's about alignment. When your daily actions match your deepest values, you begin to live in harmony with yourself. That's where peace is found. That's where fulfillment begins. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters and doing it well. You don't need to be extreme. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep moving in the direction of your purpose, inch by inch, day by day. You don't need louder motivation. You need quieter focus. Less talking, more doing. less planning, more executing, less reacting, more choosing. The results you want won't come from the chaos of overcommitment. They'll come from the simplicity of consistent, intentional action.